The 80s. These are the best of times, these are the worst of times. Your family and work change up quite a bit. There's sadness in the family, but also many new joys. Your kids are crazy teenagers, causing the usual amount of grief. Okay, probably more. Look forward to the settling down that you hope will come about later.
Time magazine sure got it right. Your passion for the news takes off. This, coupled with your hoarding tendencies, means you subscribe to several weekly news magazines as well as several daily newspapers. The good news is that wall goes down in Berlin. Gorbachev introduces new words into our vocabulary with glasnost and perestroika. Actually, China isn't quite ready to give up power. In Britain, Prince Charles marries Lady Di, and the Iron Lady takes the government there by storm. In the US, Reagan dodges the Iran-Contra scandal by pinning the blame elsewhere. In Canada, Quebec votes to stay in the country, but out of the Constitution, which Trudeau finally brings home before he's turfed out and Mulroney freaks us out with NAFTA. Lots of things blow up that shouldn't. And everyone freaks out over the hole in the ozone. Personal computers start being used in homes and schools. The big 80s are boom times, but they come to an end eventually.
Forget about pop music now. You turn back to your roots and become a full-on country-loving guy. You don't even care about the lyrics. You still love your TV, watching family comedies and serious dramas as well. Movie stars are aging, but still working, as a new batch of heartthrobs come along to steal their thunder. Some favorite movies are released. Art is, well, not your thing yet. And the greatest becomes the great one. That nice boy from Ontario.
You move to the big house on Quimple Road, and your lengthy relationship with the Halifax Fire Department starts. First off are Robert and David making French fries on Canada Day. The resulting fire gets you a nice new kitchen. Later, you install a fire alarm and a panic button, after which the family becomes regular customers. There's a time when they show up, and it turns out that there's some guys sent over from RKO in the basement working on the fuses. Then there's the time you and Marky go away during March break, without Robert or Krista. Never mind. Then there's the time you change the locks and don't tell anyone. So while Marky and the kids are breaking into the house, the firemen and the police show up to help. Then there's the time the fire people say they aren't coming back anymore. There's the end of the fire alarm.
Police, there's the time you so kindly take Robert, Krista, David, and Lisa to Montreal to go see some baseball games. Mom says awesome trip, thanks. But you all pile into the car and drive away, not even checking the house. When Margie and Karen come home that night, the front door is wide open. Who would do that? There must have been burglars. The ladies called the police. Turns out none of us were paying attention.
Okay, one more police story. One particularly hectic night, you pull into the driveway right at dinner time. As you're getting out of the car to put Margie's car into the driveway, some guy comes along in a truck, smashes into her car, and takes off. You being you, car and take off after him. A few blocks later, he realizes he is being followed. So he ditches the truck and takes off running. You think, I got the vehicle with the papers, I'm not chasing him in the snow, and you call the police. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Krista has seen you pull in the driveway and tells Margie you're home, so you can all sit down at dinner. A few minutes later, she looks out the window for... Okay, sorry. Back at the ranch, Krista has seen you pull in the driveway and tells Margie you are home and that you can all sit down for dinner. A few minutes later, she looks out the window for you and notices the trunk of Margie's car is smashed up. That's weird, she thinks. Mom didn't mention anything. How do I ask her without freaking her out? She calls Robert over for advice. Meanwhile, in the kitchen, Margie is wondering, where in the hell is everybody? Where in the hell? Okay, sorry. Is it where in the hell? Eventually, it all gets sorted out. There is a funny afterword, too. The next night, you and Margie are at the cellar, eating and telling the story, when Kathy chimes in. That's funny. Our waiter didn't show up last night. He claims some guy chased him down in his car for no reason.
Speaking of cars, there is the time Robert is supposed to bring Margie's car home from Dell. He doesn't get around to it, and you're itching with curiosity to see what he's going to do. Like, Robert's solution is, in the wee hours of the morning, to drive your car over to Dell, then drive Margie's car a few streets over, then run back to your car, and so on, essentially leapfrogging the two cars across town. You find this pretty amusing.